Welcome back to Nature's Corner. My name is Erin Shaw. I'm a park naturalist with the Ohio Department of Natural Resources. On today's show, we're going to be talking about the Cedar Creek Lake and the surrounding region. Recently, I've learned about a group of people that are working together to help protect the lake and the watershed. And Molly Conley is here with us. She is the director of the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District. So Molly, thank you for everything you've been doing. And tell us a little bit more about what's going on here.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you so much, Erin, for having me on the show. And it's great to be out here at the lake on this beautiful day. I'm here to talk about the Cedar Creek Collaborative. So we are a group of area, state, and local agencies, conservation groups, university people, landowners, farmers, all with a similar goal to protect and improve the water and soil health of the Cedar Creek Lake and the surrounding region. So we're here, we've banded together, and we have a couple projects coming up, and we'd love to talk about it today on the show. So happy to be here.
So you said the goal, that's like the written goal of the CCC?
Mm-hmm. We have a mission. Our mission is to not only improve, but to protect the water and the soil health of the Cedar Creek Lake and the surrounding region. And then from that mission, we have a couple of goals. So first, we're going to study the watershed. Before we do anything, we want to have a well thought out plan. We got a grant actually from the EPA to produce those plans. So once we produce those plans and get some input from everybody around the region who live, work, and play in the region, we can come up with areas where we can improve and protect and improve upon the soil and the water health of this region.
Okay, and how do you get that information?
So the collaborative is just starting our effort to outreach to the public. We have a website. It actually resides on the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District website. But on that website, you can not only learn more, but you can take our initial survey. So some of our initial steps is just to gather some information from the public, people that know the watershed the best, people that live here and work here. We'll gather some initial information from them from our survey. And then our group of scientists and engineers will come together and create that plan and some projects that'll help really improve the area.
Okay, so if I was going to take the survey, about how long do you think it would take?
Just a couple minutes. There's only a couple questions on that survey. Real simple questions like, do you live in this area, work or play in this area? What is your land use? Are you a farmer of agriculture? Is it just a residential, an urban lot, or a rural lot? And then, do you know of any areas that need improvement, or do you know of any problems that you see in the watershed? These are questions, the real simple few questions that people that really frequent this area will know.
Okay, and is it just around the Cedar Creek Lake, or what do you mean by area?
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought that up. We're really talking about the Cedar Creek Lake watershed. So a watershed is a large region of land that all drains to a common point. So all the streams and the rivers and the lakes of that area, the rainfall that falls on that area, they all drain to a common point. In fact, I have a map here that shows the watershed that we're talking about. So the Cedar Creek watershed is this light green watershed, and here in blue you can see the lake. But this gives you a bigger picture of an even bigger watershed that it's part of. This is the Little Miami River watershed. And if you look real close, you can see that the Little Miami eventually drains to the Ohio River. And that's important because we care about what happens up here in the Cedar Creek watershed, because of course everything filters down and picks up some pollutants or problems of areas even downstream, and then really ends up at the Ohio River. And if we care about what happens in the Ohio River, we'll also care about what happens here. So that is the Cedar Creek Lake watershed. Now, if we want to get into some more detail about the Cedar Creek Lake watershed, we have another map here that details our work even more. So this is just the Cedar Creek Lake watershed. It's about 237 square miles. There's 3 counties that it resides in: Warren, Clinton, and Greene County. And for studying purposes and for these plans that we're working on, we're dividing this watershed up into smaller regions. And you can see those in the different colors, and we'll have a different plan for each of these regions because maybe there's some different things happening in each region. For instance, in the region we're in right now, the lake is here, and that's pretty unique to just this small area. So there might be some problems here, and I know that you have mentioned some things, that some natural resource concerns or wildlife concerns that are just in the lower Caesar Creek watershed. So, you know, our plans going forward, like we've talked about a geese problem here. You know, with all the cutout for the recreation, for the beach, they have a clear line of sight to the lake. And so what happens? They congregate here, they fly here, they land on the lake, and sometimes that overwhelms the water of the lake and creates a rise in E. coli. Then we have to shut the beach down. People aren't able to swim and recreate here. And so maybe we'll come up with a plan or a solution to that for one of our projects. You know, we want to respect the wildlife and live along with them. So maybe we divert them to a different area, or maybe we spread them out, you know, and we maybe help their habitat or improve their habitat somewhere else, so it draws them away to this one spot where humans want to interact so much. You know, native plantings. We've talked about some native plantings, some tall grasses, maybe to disturb their line of sight, you know, but we can maybe improve their habitat somewhere else to help them as well. So all those things that's just an example of one solution that we might find in this watershed to help a problem.
That would be fantastic to help with that. So what other land uses are there?
Yeah, so mainly in this watershed we have mainly agricultural land, and historically that's what it's been as well. But mainly agricultural. We'll see some rural land. There's a lot of residents in this area as well. Obviously recreation. We have the state park right here with the lake. So recreation. We don't have too much urban city land, but it's majority agriculture. So a lot of our projects will focus on agricultural solutions. So working with those farmers, finding funding for those farmers to improve their soil and to improve their runoff, not only helps them as farmers and helps them with their crops and their livestock, but it will also help downstream in the lake and all the way down to the Ohio.
You mentioned that the watershed is pretty healthy. What type of work does the CCC do in hope to help protect the watershed?
So you're right, the watershed is a pretty healthy watershed. In fact, it drains to the Little Miami River, which is a national and scenic river. So to get that designation, it has to be healthy. But that doesn't mean there's small areas for improvement or room for improvement or even projects to sustain that health. We want to sustain that health for generations to come. You know, so some of our solutions will be on ag land, on urban land, even right here at the state park. And so we'll improve wildlife, we'll improve soil health, we'll improve water quality, just so that we can keep that healthy watershed, healthy soil, and healthy water that we enjoy today.
And it really does take a team of people working together. I mean, that's a big area.
Absolutely. There'll be a lot of scientists, a lot of engineers, a lot of volunteers as well. People in the watershed, if you want to be involved, you could go to our website, learn more about it. We're always looking for volunteers. After we write these plans, we're going to come up with, we'll have a kickoff to a project phase where we'll really draw all the people of the watershed in, and everyone can meet us, and we can have a celebration of the start of the projects, and people can become involved. So we're really excited about next fall when that might happen.
So did you say a project example might be like planting native plants?
Sure, native plants right here. We talked about that for a geese remediation project. That would be a project on the state park. An example of a project on a private land, what if you might have a stream going through your property that has an erosion problem? Well, that erosion is taking sediment into the lake, and maybe it's compromising the wildlife or the habitat of the lake. So we might find funds to do a stream bank restoration project on your property if that stream resides on your property.
Okay, and you mentioned something about the EPA 9-element plan. What is that?
Yeah, so that's kind of what kicked this whole thing off. We went after a grant that provided money to study watersheds and create plans. And that's what these 9-element plans are. You study the watershed, and then you find the areas of concern, and then you come up with projects to remediate them or to continue with the health of the soil and the water. So we received a grant to create 5 of these plans. We pulled together a group, and that's what the Caesar Creek Collaborative really is. It's a group of people that are working to forward these plans and to put them into action.
Okay, and so what you need first and foremost is public input.
Absolutely. So the first thing is to study the watershed. And so, like I said, we have the website, and we'd love for everyone to go onto our website. It resides on the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District website, and there's a survey. And that is really our first step. That's our first action item, is to get input from the people that live, work, and play in this watershed.
Okay. Was there anything else that we didn't cover?
No, thank you. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Thank you very much for all that you're doing.
Yeah.
Bill Sheeman, thank you so much for being on today's show. I know you've been a resident of the area for a long time, and we've been friends. You've done a lot of work in the area. So what does this area mean to you?
Well, thanks, Erin, for inviting me on Nature's Corner again. And like you say, this is just special ground for me, you know, not just the ground, but the water. I raised my family in Waynesville, Ohio. So, and even before that, my grandparents built a house out in the country, about 2 miles outside the Waynesville city limits. And I used to spend my summer times, my mom would ship me off to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and I didn't know where Waynesville was until then. And then it's funny how, you know, when it comes time to start your own family, the first place I looked for a home was Waynesville. Mm-hmm. And so it's a very special place. I don't need to tell you, you live here, you live in this area, so it's great.
There is something very special about the place, and I know that it draws diversity of people and animals, wildlife, and naturally we're drawn to the water. The lake has not always been here, but there was a creek. We're close to the river, so the water is a huge draw for people and animals alike.
Yeah, people of a certain age, older people like myself, you know, I fished this stream before the lake was here. So when I first moved to Waynesville, there was no dam. They had just begun buying land. The Corps of Engineers had just begun buying land for the lake. And I fished and hunted all along Caesar Creek. And, you know, the thing that makes it special, I think, is just the topography of the area. You know, it's not all flat, it's not all hills. We've just got a good mixture of hardwood, forest, open ground. Now we have this beautiful lake. It's magic, this area, and most of the areas around our state parks. This is a major state park in Ohio, and these are wonderful places.
So Caesar Creek in particular has a history, a mission, a purpose of educating and providing recreation opportunities. So as a naturalist.
So I almost cut you off there, but the reason is I'm so excited because of what you've been doing here at the lake, Erin. I mean, for many years now, you've been teaching the Ohio Certified Volunteer Naturalist Program. And think of all the people, all the volunteers who have come to work at the park after getting their training as a Ohio Certified Volunteer Naturalist. We have the Nature Center Association here with wonderful volunteers in it. And you know, I'm nothing. You built this thing. I mean, you've taken on these volunteers, you've taken on the training. The OCVN program is in partnership with Ohio State University, so they provide the academic piece and you do the training piece, and I help you get the students out in the field, in the woods, watching birds, collecting fossils. It's just a wonderful experience.
It's a place where people are drawn together with the same passion of nature. And I think by having the opportunity to learn more about it and the opportunity to go out and enjoy it, therefore turns back into wanting to help protect it. and want to help continue that, the wisdom and the knowledge and the desire for people to continue to protect it, because it's not always going to be here if we don't take care of it.
Well, that's what's important about the Caesar Creek Collaborative. You heard the director of Soil and Water, Molly, earlier say, you know, it's a wonderful watershed today. It's high quality. It took a lot of work to get it in the shape it's in today, and it's going to take a lot more work in the future to make improvements and make sure that it doesn't slip in water quality. A good example of what we've done over the past couple of decades is I watch bald eagles. So one of the things that I was always interested in are bald eagles as a species of bird, and I got involved in monitoring their nests. 8 years ago, in the Caesar Creek watershed area, we had one nest. Today, we have 8 nests in the greater watershed area around Caesar Creek Park. Just here in this park, we have a nest. That's amazing to have one right on this lake. And then within about 2 miles of this lake, we have another 3 nests. So if you just look at what's happened in the watershed in the last couple of decades, the eagles have returned. We have another almost as large as an eagle. Ospreys have returned. They're nesting all around in the watershed. We have one nesting right over here on a radio tower for Department of Natural Resources, and the osprey nest in almost every cell tower in this part of Warren County has an osprey nest on it now. So this is a reflection of the improvements that have been made in the watershed.
Absolutely. It fills me with hope. I get equally excited when I see one every time, and I know it's because of the water quality is good, that the fish and the osprey, the eagles and the osprey are eating fish from the water.
Yeah.
So protecting that water is not only important to them, but so many things even unseen for us today. So it's important that we learn about it, we enjoy it, and we protect it. So thank you, Bill.
Yep, thank you. And for the people who might be watching this show, as was mentioned earlier, we need their support on these surveys. So even if you don't live in the watershed, we're talking about people living in the watershed, it's just as important to get the input on the surveys from people who come down to visit and recreate. So if you're a bird watcher, if you're a fisherman, if you hunt fossils, we didn't even touch on the fossil hunting area. People come from all over the world to hunt fossils down here at Caesar Creek. But if you recreate in this area, if you come to the beach in the summertime, please fill out the survey. Give us your input. Tell us what you're seeing. Tell us what you like about the watershed, what could be improved. It's really important that we do our best with this study effort now. The future of the watershed depends on it.
Our next guest is Ty Higgins from the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation. Ty, why is soil health and water important to the Farm Bureau?
Healthy soil and water are critical, not just for Farm Bureau and our members, but for all of us. Both are essential for growing high quality food, but it all starts and ends with the soil. The better the soil, the better the water as it filters through for the farm families that drink that water and for their neighbors downstream. And farmers fully understand they're part of why Ohio is seeing water quality issues, and with the help of millions of dollars of their own investments throughout the state, they're learning how to expand on the best management practices they already have in place, and they're finding new ways to keep valuable nutrients in the soil right where they belong. Part of that investment includes nearly $2 million allocated to the Blanchard River Demonstration Farms Network, where Farm Bureau and USDA's Natural Resources Conservation Service have teamed up to use 3 real-life farms to conduct real on-farm research of all kinds, so farmers can find water quality efforts that might work for them based on the type of farm they have, their soils, of course, topography, and economic factors as well.
Why is the Farm Bureau working together with the Caesar Creek Collaborative on this watershed initiative?
Collaborating with the CCC ties directly in with Farm Bureau's mission statement, working together for farmers to advance agriculture and strengthen our communities. When everyone who has a stake in an issue is involved in any project, it takes on that holistic approach and the result's positive, coordinated change. We're seeing that statewide with the Ohio Agriculture Conservation Initiative. This new group consists of agriculture groups like Farm Bureau, as well as conservation, academia, environmental groups, the Nature Conservancy, and the Ohio Environmental Council. We're all working together for the first time ever to help farmers assess what they're currently doing on their farms to protect their soil and water and what they might be able to do a little bit better. And there were some tough conversations among this group about really complex issues, but everyone has a say, and the progress is being made through H2 Ohio and OACI's certification program. Those same results can be realized as we work together with CCC and those who farm and live right here in the watershed.
Why is working in the watershed with the producers important to the Farm Bureau?
Even though Farm Bureau is a statewide organization, we know the best way to communicate with our members is right there on their own turf. And solving water quality issues isn't a one-size-fits-all answer. Every farm's different, every farmer's different. So getting involved here in the watershed allows us to help farmers find the ways to strike that very important balance between growing a crop that keeps the farm viable and implementing practices that maintains the health of the soil they've invested a lot of time and money into for generations. We also want to give farmers in the area a voice to ensure their needs are at the forefront and giving those who aren't involved in agriculture the insights as to what it takes to protect our natural resources while growing the world's safest, most abundant, and affordable food supply.
Thanks, Ty, for spending some time with us. Our next speaker is Ashley Rose with the Ohio Farm Bureau Federation. So Ashley, thank you for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Erin.
And what is your title there?
So I'm the organization director of Clinton, Fayette, Greene, and Warren County Farm Bureaus. And my role as an organization director is to act as a liaison between the county farm bureaus, which holds all of our members, and our state farm bureau. And then, of course, the state farm bureau is also a part of the National Farm Bureau, American Farm Bureau Federation.
Wow. So just out of curiosity, what do you do like on a day-to-day basis?
So I work with 4 county boards that typically consist of about 10 to 14 members. And then I also work with all of our local members through communication as well as volunteer roles. I work with about 120 volunteers on an annual basis. And we do lots of different things. We work on policy development, which helps us advocate for farmers in rural communities like the ones we live in. And then we also get to put on great educational programming that talks not only about agriculture, but ways that we can improve, whether that's water quality, whether that is promoting good neighbors, whether it's helping with drugs and other issues in our community. So we really get to be that grassroots effort that helps make a difference here at the local level, as well as passing on issues that are happening in the state and national level as well.
Wow, okay. So you're part of the Cedar Creek Collaborative.
I am. We're really excited to be a part of that. Water quality has always been a top concern of Farm Bureau. When we look at our priority issues, it's always in the top 10. And the reason for that is farmers need the water to be good quality as well. Oftentimes people forget that we use that water as well to grow our crops and raise our livestock. And just like people, livestock can't be taking in a lot of bad water because they can get water bacteria and other problems as well that would really affect their health.
Of course. And the soil quality is directly related to the water quality.
Absolutely. And some of the pollutants that we see in water is things like erosion and things like that, and our farmers don't want that. We need that soil, especially that topsoil, to stay on our fields. So farmers use a variety of different methods, whether it's using water buffers or no-till crop farming, where we leave that crop residue on top. We don't plow it all under. All those different initiatives and methods really help us keep that topsoil there, as well as reduce the amount of water quality and nutrient runoff that we see.
Yeah, all right. So what are some of our local farm bureaus doing to improve the water quality?
Sure. So from a local level, members on my different boards as well as community members are listening into our state policy calls where we talk about water quality issues statewide and what they're seeing. This helps bring awareness and education to it so that way our members can be aware of how they can help, but also what partners could they partner with in order to improve water quality in their communities. We also have these large educational posters that talk about how do agricultural residents as well as urban residents improve their water quality, and that's different things like farmers using the 4 R's, or what we call the 4 R's, which is right source, right place, right time, right rate. And that just allows us to make sure that the nutrients we're putting on our fields are right where we need them, and in not overloading that soil, not overloading those nutrients. And then we also talk about how urban folks can help by, making sure that when you're using Roundup in your garden, you're not doing it right before a rainstorm, or having a whole lot of runoff from your gardens and lawn care items going right into your septic.
All right. Very good. So you mentioned that the loss of soil is one of the problems with farming, is that erosion. They're losing their soil, and so the CCC, us working together, could help mitigate that problem.
Absolutely.
And we just need to figure out what the problems are and how we can help each other.
Absolutely. People often forget that what works in one community isn't always going to solve the problems in all the rest of them. And farmers, we're learning more and more about the soil every single day. What we were all taught 20 years ago has rapidly changed to what we know now. So with the use of things like cover crops to help kind of keep that soil in place, crop rotations in a certain way, all these different methods are things that we're learning along the way, but we still need help to do it. And that's why teaming up with this collaborative and working with that research really helps farmers, not only here, but throughout the rest of the state.
Yeah, it's like a community, I guess, of people that care.
Absolutely. And we can only do the best that we know how. So the more information that farmers have, the better they can do. And if there is opportunities to team up with others so that way they can try new methods while using research dollars or things like that, it's much easier to be able to do that. At the end of the day, farmers still have to make a living, and we have to make sure that we give them the adequate amount of resources in order to improve their water quality.
Our next guest and our last guest for today's show is Cindy Meyer. You are the Conservation Program Specialist for the Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District.
Yes, hi Erin.
So what does that mean, Conservation Program Specialist?
So I help lead several different projects for our office. One would be the land preservation, farmland preservation program. I work hand in hand with ODA, Ohio Department of Ag, and Natural Resources Conservation Service to help preserve farms here in Warren County.
Okay, and how do you plan on getting citizens, our community, involved with the Cedar Creek Collaborative?
So yes, the Cedar Creek Collaborative is just another fun facet of my job. I get to help, lead this group, this collaborative. And the Cedar Creek Collaborative, like Molly said, like all of the folks before me said, we're concentrating our efforts in the area. We're looking to do some surveying items here in the county. We're also doing some outreach efforts, and so we're super excited about next fall. Hopefully COVID will allow us to have an in-person outreach opportunity, and it'll be a water fest, or excuse me, a music fest. I don't know where I came up with water fest, but yes, music fest. And so it'll be full of food, family, and fun. And as part of it, we'll be kicking off our project area for this program, the collaborative.
Okay, so what's going to help the collaborative be successful?
Really, it is up to all of the residents, all the people who work, play, and come here to the Cedar Creek area. We want to hear from you. We want you to go to warrencountyswcd.com and take the survey and help us identify those areas of need.
Okay, so at the very least, a person could go and take the survey. That information is valuable.
Yes.
Because that's where you're going to start. That's how you identify where the problems are. That's where you identify where the really good places are, and how we can protect and enjoy this water for now and the future.
Yes, that's correct. It's we need everyone's input to make this a very holistic plan for this watershed and really understand where those needs are, like I said. If you want to volunteer, we're also looking for interested folks who want to join our collaborative and really help us in that outreach effort. You know, that Music Fest next fall, it's going to take a lot of hands to get that done. So if anybody in the Warren County, Greene County, Clinton County area, or even beyond that would like to come and help us and volunteer with the collaborative, that would be wonderful.
Yes, because it's a big undertaking. But it's important that everybody's working together and kind of on the same page. And it's exciting and reassuring to know that there's help out there. Like I said, we've been trying to help this geese situation here at the beach for years. And, you know, we can try this project. Hopefully it works. And if not, we'll try something else. But to know that there's help available, there's funding available, there's people that care and not only talk about it, but will take action. So
yeah, that's a really neat part, is that in action, and that's what we're looking for. Putting plans together is neat, but really that project side of things is going to be the best part about this, is seeing our action and work and really putting those projects in place. And it can be here at the lake, it could be on someone's private residence, it could be at some, you know, a producer, a agricultural producer's farm. You know, really getting those projects in place and really seeing them in action, seeing our work affecting change.
that's right, and it starts with the survey really. So thank you. I'm excited about this new collaborative that you have going, and now I'm a part of now. And I will go take the survey.
Awesome.
And tell me again where people can go for more information.
WarrenSWCD.com.
Okay. And that stands for?
Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District, our website. Yep. WarrenSWCD.com. Go there, take the short survey. You can see where you're at in the watershed if you live here. And, you know, there's some other cool information on there also that you can check out.
All right. Thank you for being on today's show.
Thanks.
That's it for today's show. Thanks for watching. If you'd like more information, please check us out online. We'll see you on the trails.